Hello and welcome back to The Morning After. If you missed it, how did you miss it? It's new iPhone time. Apple unveiled the newest iPhones, as we expected, 4 new iPhones, as well as a new Apple Watch that might steal the headlines. It's bigger, it's thinner, it's better, and 3 new AirPods models, some newer than others. Now, we don't have time to cover everything, so we'll keep to the highlights because some of you out there absolutely hate anything Apple related. So let's start with the iPhones. The iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pro this year, what is particularly good is how all of the new stuff is coming to both devices. The iPhone 16 gets an action button, finally, that's on the left edge above the volume buttons, and the new camera button on the opposite side as well. And you know which other phone had a camera button? The Sony Ericsson K800i, released in 2006. Thank you. In fairness, it's not just a button. No, in classic Apple style, it's filled with sensors and all kinds of innovative tech. It can quickly adjust your controls and settings within the camera. Think zoom, aperture, and exposure with gentle slides and presses. Although there's no half press to focus just yet, like a normal camera, although that's set to arrive soon. Apple has also redesigned the camera module on the back of the iPhone 16, back to 2 stacked camera sensors. Now, the cynic in me thought this change was just a visual indicator for folks to brag that they had the newest iPhone, but fair enough, there is a reason. Apparently, this arrangement of cameras means that they can capture spatial video and photos, which is fair enough. The iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max gets an array of upgraded shooting features as well. There is thankfully Pro model equality between the 6.9-inch Pro Max, which I think is too big, and the 6.2-inch Pro, with the smaller Pro finally this year getting the 5x optical zoom. I won't have to get the giant iPhone, yes! Both of these Pro models will have a larger battery, meaning the company could deliver us that perennial Apple keynote line of the best iPhone battery ever. Now, were you planning to upgrade your iPhone? Just for clarity, and so I can send this video to anyone who asks me for the next couple of months, is it worth upgrading to the iPhone 16? Well, if you're considering it from a basic iPhone, probably yes, in most cases. There's 2 new buttons, better cameras, and support for Apple Intelligence when it eventually gets here. Now, is it worth upgrading to the iPhone 16 Pro? That's a little bit trickier. If you don't have a 15 Pro, possibly, yes. These titanium-made phones are much lighter compared to older Pro and Pro Max models. And like I said, you now get the best telephoto camera even if you don't buy the Pro Max. Hopefully that sells some arguments. Now, are you ready to be confused? Yes, Apple launched its 4th generation AirPods this week with a redesigned look and shape that's supposed to fit more ear shapes. The new entry-level $129 AirPods also have the H2 chip to power features like spatial audio and come with the smallest AirPods charging case to date. Then, Apple announced a second model with support for active noise cancellation and transparency modes priced at $179. But don't confuse those with the AirPods Pro, which still exist and just didn't get a hardware update. Oh no, this week wasn't just about new Apple products. No, we also finally heard all about the long-awaited PlayStation 5 Pro, pitched as having more power and less compromises. The company wants to narrow the gap between fidelity and performance. Up until now, PlayStation 5 gamers have had to choose between high frame rates or high resolution, and switching between the two. Now, if you get a PlayStation 5 Pro, you shouldn't have to. The GPU has 67% more compute units and 28% faster RAM. That's all compared to the standard PlayStation 5, delivering up to 45% faster graphic rendering. Meanwhile, Sony's AI upscaling tech, called the jarring PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR, should sharpen up in-game assets without the need to remake them. Now, the console itself is the same size as the not even remotely small original launch console, but there's no disk drive model. That is an optional extra on top of that $700 price. The good news, however, is that it does have a pretty decent 2 terabytes of storage built in. Pre-orders start on September 26th, and it will arrive on November 7th. Go on then, we'll talk about more consoles. Let's talk about the Switch 2, even though it's definitely not going to be called the Switch 2. I will shave my head on this channel if it's called the Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, we've been waiting for Nintendo's next console for a couple of years now, and it's It's got to happen sometime, right? Rumors are pointing to a March 2025 launch, perhaps, with production apparently scaling up at one of Nintendo's core manufacturers around that time. Now, we're expecting another hybrid console that can be played on the go or connected to a TV. And the future console will also have its own upscaling tech, similar to what I was talking about with the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's all but confirmed that it will feature Nvidia's DLSS tech, rendering a game at low resolution but then outputting it at higher resolution, which sounds kind of perfect for a lower powered console that can be played on the move. Having said all of that, there's lots of questions remaining on screen technology, size, and heck, price. But Engadget will be reporting on further rumors and leaks worth your time, so make sure to check out the website for more on all of that. And that's been a surprisingly vintage, hardware-heavy edition of The Morning After. Thanks once again for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, share the message, and I'll be back next week with another episode, and I might even wear my glasses for the whole thing. Who knows? Crazier things have happened.